G'day folks, I'm Rex Hunt and you're not. Yeah, it used to be the bearded burbler. Something went wrong. Anyhow, it's lovely to be with you. And I'm back. Not on the TV. On whatever device that you've got all over the planet. My new YouTube channel has given me a good start to the rest of my life. And has got kids that used to watch me all over the globe, sitting down with their kids and enjoying what fishing's all about. It's fun. Now, if you don't mind, I'll just have a look at a couple of pointers that Bob Grief, my trusty producer, has made for me. What have we got there, Bobby? Now, it's a big show tonight. You idiot, Bob. Let's get started. And first up, we're going across to Mike Bailey. Now, he's at Exotic Fishing in Thailand. I got an idea when we landed at Bangkok. We went to some place called Num Bum in the Sewer, or something like that. But anyhow, here's Big Fish Sunday with Mike.
Hey Rex, how you doing, mate? It's Mike from Exotic Fishing Thailand. As you know, we're always trying to promote Exotic Fishing Thailand internationally. We have over 60 species of fish. Biggest fish are Arapaima to 160 kilos. We've got some babies in here, up to about 50 kilo. Let's throw some in there, get them going. There we go. Once they get to 50 kilo, we put them in the main lake. We have 8 species over 50 kilo. We have giant stingray, we have Mekong catfish, Siamese carp, all kinds of exciting species. We use 2 different methods. We use fly fishing and bait fishing. I know you're a fan of all methods of fishing. It'd be great to see you here. When you're here, you've got to try this float method. What we do is we put this lam ball, it's like rice powder, onto a feeder with a, we fish about 1.2 meters deep, and we catch everything from Mekong catfish to Arapaima. I'm going to try and hook an Arapaima up right now, so show you what to expect. Whoa, so we finally got hooked up on the float. Oh my God, this thing's almost spooled me. I got the Arapaima of all Arapaimas, I think. Maybe the drag was a bit loose. So yeah, we've been working these 2 float rods pretty hard. About an hour now. So it's getting close to dinner time, and I'm getting hungry. Sure enough, the rod went off. And that was one hell of a run. So, could be Arapaima, it could be a Mekong catfish, or it could be a big Chao Phraya catfish. I'm hoping Arapaima. Well, there we go. Arapaima for sure. Oh boy. With head shakes like that. It's almost on the other side of the lake. It's a nice time of day for catching fish though. It's really cooled down. At 3:30, 3:40, the sun goes behind the mountains. Fish turn on. And the heat drops, so it's let's try this, see if we can get him to swim towards us a little bit. Make it a little easier. So what we're going to do with this fish is, once we get it in, the guides will go in the water with a net made of PVC pipe. And the two guys will dip the net and try to get the fish in the net. I'll get some close-up photos for you. So that's worked. We've got him in closer, but whoa, he's gonna go again. Here we go. Whoa, 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 whoa. And that drag's pretty tight. He's having no trouble at all taking that drag. Look at those head shakes. And he's going again. Oh. See if I can trick him again to swim towards me. There we go. It's coming. A lot safer to have the rod up in the air. Okay guys, why don't we come over here with the net and then we get everything on the video, yeah? We'll bring the guides over to the other side of the swim. So hopefully we can see the fish go in the net. I haven't seen him yet. There he is. Hey buddy. Whoa! Nice fish. Beautiful red colors on this one. They come in all different colors. We got olive greens, there's some gold colored, whoa, 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 whoa. Some gold colored ones, silver ones, and this one's got a lot of red in it. Hopefully I get to show it to you soon. So a little bit about what's happening with this float rig is that we have lots of bait fish in the lake, and we have a feeder with rice powder wrapped around it, packed onto the feeder. And once we put it out there, all the small fish come around the feeder, and then the Arapaima come up and suck in the small fish. Here, we're going to bring him up right now. Here we go. Whoa. He's gone again. Gone again. Bye-bye. You can't rush this fish. I try sometimes, but you can't. They have so much power. His runs are getting a bit shorter now.
Explain about that pike on the floor there, Mike.
Sorry? Yeah, well, okay, we have oxygen here that we give to the fish. It's all about fish care here at Exotic Fishing Thailand. So once the fish is in the net, we've got the hook out. We let the fish rest. We give them oxygen. Now the Arapaima is an air breather, and I do get a lot of people on Facebook asking me, why am I giving oxygen to an air breather? Well, because we feel that the more oxygen that's in the water when the fish is stressed, the better it is for the fish. And for us, it's proven to, we have a very good record of not losing fish, so it works for us, and we go with it. We also put iodine on any marks, any hook marks or line marks on all our fish. And the Arapaima, we keep them in the water at all time. We don't lift them out of the water. The belly of the fish has to stay in the water. This is a good fish, I tell you. Whoa! The whole trick is to keep constant pressure on it. I don't even want to talk about it in case it shakes the hook, but a lot of people are they tighten up like this, you know, and then the fish shakes their head and they pull the hook loose. I just try to use my arm like a shock absorber, and if it's going to shake its head, I let it go, you know. Let it. Okay, let's see if we can. You guys awake down there? Is that Leo? Okay, we're trying to coax him in. There we go. Let's see if he's tired now. Turn him. There we go. Look at the colors on that fish. That's beautiful. Whoa, bit of a head shake. Let's get him in the net. Come on, boys. Whoa, come on, head. There we go. Wow. What a beautiful fish. And you can see some small fish he's been spitting out of his mouth in the net there, just float on the back. A few of them floating up. Okay, we'll lift that fish up so you guys can see it. Beautiful fish on the float rig. You can see the float there in its mouth, or the rig in its mouth. Let's see how easy that hook comes out. Just take the hook out. Look, that's how easy the hook came out. So there's the rig. Short hook length so we don't deep hook the fish. There's the feeder. We put rice powder on this, and we have stoppers that are set, well, they were set at about 1.2 to 2 meters. Exotic Fishing Thailand, beautiful Arapaima. Can we take a look at it, guys? Here's the oxygen. Let's just lift the fish up so we can see it on the video. Okay, maybe just bring it up a little bit, guys. These guys are very leery about these fish. Their fish are so strong, they smash these nets to pieces all the time. Look at the head on that. That head's like a I don't know.
Battering ram.
Battering ram, yeah. Wooden stump, like a block of steel. Look at all the small fish floating up. We spit them all up now. Okay, can we just lift it up a little bit, guys? Try. There we go. Look at the colors on that fish. Wow, so that net's 2 meters, and that fish is longer than the net. Just over 2 meters, probably in the 80 kilo range, something like that. Okay, fantastic. We're going to give the fish some oxygen and get it sprayed up, and that's it. Exotic Fishing Thailand. Rex, you got to come and do this, buddy.
How about that, folks? Those Arapaima. I'd just love to get hold of one there at Mike's Lake. And John Pierce, I don't know what his name is, Pearson or Pierce, thank you very much. Now, what have we got there? We've got a very, very special story at the end of the show, so don't go away. I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. And Yibbida Yibbida, I'll see you in the chat room. I think that's it, Bob.
And thank you very much for joining us on Rex Hunt Fishing Adventures. Sit back and relax. I'm sure you'll enjoy the show. The old bearded birdler, he's in his element. Threw it into his mouth. Unbelievable, mate. It's just like nature. It's what we're all about. I tell you what, this is just fantastic. Wagons, ho! Oh, thank your mother for the rabbits. Just when they think it's safe to come out, another animal. Bang! I guess in the end, that's probably why we all go fishing. Folks, welcome to Lake Tinaroo, atop the magnificent Atherton Tablelands in northern Queensland, about an hour and a half easy drive from Cairns, and with me, John Mondora.
Yes, that's right. Put him in the same class as Dick Lewis and Vic McChrystal, and he's one of the forefathers of sport fishing in this marvellous nation of ours. It's great to have you on the show, John.
It's great to be here, Rex, and welcome to my backyard.
Well, you say your backyard, this is your territory, but the absolute reputation of this marvellous water almost precedes it.
Well, Rex, if you want to catch the biggest barramundi in Australia, this is where they are at Lake Tinaroo. You know, there was an 85-pound fish caught here last week. The fish average weight 10 to 11 kilos. That's average size, but they're not easy, Rex. They're tough, and we're going to have to work hard. And maybe we're going to have to fish at night, but hey, it's all right by me. Is it okay by you?
It's okay by me. The great man has spoken, and I say that with every bit of respect in my body. It's like Mark Waugh going into bat with Sir Donald Bradman. Let's go fishing, old fella. Off we go, folks. Just a matter of putting in the time, isn't it, Johnny?
Yeah, at this time of the day, Rex, it definitely is. It's about all we can do. The fish are down deep, and you know, casting lures to them now is not easy. So all we can do is put the time in. You know, we'll get a bite late this afternoon, but you know, there's been a couple of really nice fish lost here today, and I don't know, Rex. I think we just got to keep going. It's going to be our turn. So just hope that he's a 50-pound fish.
Well, we just hope he's a fish. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, well, that's Tinaroo, the biggest barras in Australia, and they're the biggest stubborn barras in Australia. But oh, Rex, when you get one on, you know you got him there, haven't you?
As the northern Queenslanders would say, that's right. Hey. Hey. Oh, gee. Oh, didn't he inhale that? Oh, gee, folks, I tell you what, it's very dark here at Tinaroo, in the Atherton tablelands of northern Queensland. It was very dark about 12 hours ago when we started, and that's how long we've been at it. Here, look at this magnificent fish, and I suppose it's going to actually shock you folk all around the globe that this is not recognised as a very, very big fish for this area. But I tell you what, this is a serious fish. Don't worry about that. Serious fish in anyone's language, and people travel from all over the world to come here. Ah, gee whiz. There's a bit of displacement there, Jono boy.
Yeah, he's a nice one, Rex.
Yeah.
He's no giant, but he's a nice fish.
I'm glad that he's not one of your giant fish, because this 6 kilo line, these brolgers seem to be just sort of celebrating a little bit as they fly into the east for the evening. Look at that boil, look at this. Oh, wow. Nice fish. Nice fish. I've spoken to many people who have been here for 3 or 4 days and haven't even got a sniff. But that's still a very, very nice barramundi. You're right there. And I tell you what, mate, it's a tagged fish. So things are working pretty well.
Right. You're right,
It's a tagged fish. Obviously, folks, the big furnace in the sky has gone down and suddenly the fish come on the bite.
That's Tinaroo, Rex. That's just the way it is. The sun will go down and... Yeah,
Now,
that's,
you might like to explain why we cradle these fish before we put them back.
well, yeah, that's barely an average sized Tinaroo barra. I know it's a nice fish for anywhere, but it's not a big fish for here, and I'm sure we're going to catch a big one later, Rex, but...
What would be your estimation on this particular fish?
20 to 25 pound.
Yeah, a very, very nice.
You can just see how thick they are through the body.
Very,
Rex,
very
you know.
thick.
Yeah,
Beautiful predators, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And this one's got a tag in it that's been in there for some time, and it is unreadable. So I was hoping to get that for the fisheries, but I suppose we better sort of
I guess we'd be letting
just
go,
think
Rex,
about
because, you know, we
getting
don't
her
really
back
need-
into the system and doing a little bit of resuscitation work here, eh? Well, she's biting on my thumb, actually. I wonder whether she'll give us a bit of a kick. Come on. Come on, can you give us a little bit of a kick? And away she goes. How about that, son?
Shake, put her there, son. That's your first Tinaroo barra. Well done, my son. Couple of old geriatrics like us, we
It
managed
is
to
my
catch one.
first Tinaroo barra. I tell you what,
We worked hard, but the main thing is, well, we jumped a fish off about 35 pound.
yep,
We filmed one 45 pound that some other guy caught, and we finally caught one ourselves.
yeah. And I think really that's what angling's all about. People out there viewing in television land all over the world should realise that you just don't come here to fill up your bag and go home, because it's a real challenge, isn't it?
Tinaroo is probably the most challenging barramundi fishery in Australia, Rex, and it's because they're big fish, and they're like all, you know, they're females, and they're like all females, they're cantankerous, Rex. You know that. We're both married. You know,
Easy,
that's
easy.
it.
My missus is watching this.
This is true,
Hey?
and you just got to put the time in. But I don't know anywhere in Australia where, you know, you can catch fish of this average size. You know, there's this, an 85 pound fish here caught 2 weeks ago, and that's pretty awesome, Rex. And
That is awesome.
I think we better go and try and catch one ourselves. What do you reckon?
Well, we'll see if we can get another one. So we're fishing under lights at the moment, folks, and see if we can get another one for you, perhaps a little bit bigger, and hopefully the great man, John Mondora, can hook one. But quite seriously, this is a credit to northern fisheries as far as Queensland fisheries are concerned. They put these blighters in that big and they grow to half a house. I tell you what, it's a pretty special fishery. Tinaroo, up in the Atherton tablelands out of Cairns.
Yeah, come on, folks, come up here and just see if you can catch one, because it's a lot of fun, guys.
It is, no doubt about that.
This all gets inundated when this is This is the Opahi River in the South Canterbury region of the southern island of New Zealand, and I'm here today with Ian Curry, a keen local trout fisherman. Ian, this has been one of the hottest, driest summers on record here in the South Island, yet there's still a fair bit of flow in this river. Why is that?
Well, the river is actually augmented by a new dam on the Pura River.
And what, they release water out of that to keep the stream flow up?
Yes, they release water and a certain amount of water to keep the river at a certain level.
That's fantastic. So even in a dry summer like this, it's still very fishable, isn't it?
Oh yes, yes, it's good.
It's going to be hard to see the fish. You don't blind cast much, do you? You wait until you see the fish?
Now, try to spot them before we cast to them, but under these conditions...
We're going to have to move slowly and keep our eyes peeled. Why don't we start over here?
Yes.
I'm going to rely on your well-practiced local eyes, I think.
There we are, Steve, underneath the edge of that little ripple.
Oh, what a beauty!
He's not too bad.
He's facing away from us. I'll just get rid of that. Oh, nice fish.
Can you still see him?
Yeah, I can still see him. He's still facing away. He's going around. Looks like he's got a bit of a beat. He's coming around down this way. Oh, no, he's not spooked. He hasn't seen us. I reckon I can just about get that in front of him from here.
Put it in front of him.
Ooh, that'll do the job. He's coming up for it. Oh.
What did he do?
Oh, he rejected it.
And did it scare him?
No, he's not scared, but he came up and he got within about 4 inches of it. He's coming back up towards you.
Right.
Oh, I thought he was going to eat. He's over against the rock. That's perfect. He's coming up for it. Oh, look at that.
I think we're going to have to change there, Steve.
Change the fly, you reckon?
Yes, I think we will.
Okay, what do you got?
Oh.
So what do you reckon, Ian?
Well, one of these, Steve. These might do the trick.
What do you call that?
Oh, that's my blowfly.
It's a bit of a sort of a black gnat, isn't it?
It is a black gnat. That's actually what it is.
That's quite a bit smaller than this wolf, so maybe it'll do the job. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to put a lighter tippet on as well.
Oh, good idea.
I got him. Woo! Oh, Ian, that was fantastic. We tricked him up with that little blowfly imitation of yours. I tell you what, this is really hunting, isn't it? When you spot a fish like this, and we've spent a good 20-25 minutes on him. I've gone down to a lighter tippet, changed flies. Ian gave me one of his little black gnats, and finally, this big top jaw has come out of the water, and this lovely fish has just inhaled the fly. There he is. Look at that. What a beautiful wild brown trout. It's a buck, I'd say. It's got a huge mouth, so I can't pull on him too hard. I'm just letting him wear himself out. Typical of a big brown trout, they don't take off on big screaming runs and jumps like a rainbow. They just slug it out, lots of low end power. I'm actually going to walk up here towards this little run at the top of the pool and just beach him on the gravel. To catch a fish like this on dry fly has to be one of the greatest achievements in fly fishing. It's what brings people from all over the world to the South Island of New Zealand. The water, as you can see, is gin clear. Almost looks like that fish is suspended in air, and that's why you just can't afford to make any mistakes with the presentation. Eventually I'll just get his head pointed up here on the rocks, and then I'm going to walk over there and tail him. I really prefer not to use the net. I've got him now. I'm going to keep him in the water as much as possible. I'll give you a look at him. How about that? Have a look at the fly there, embedded in his top jaw. That's a tiny, tiny fly. It's on about a number 14 hook. He's a magnificent fish. Any guess on the weight there, Ian?
Oh yes, he'd be, I would say, heading towards 5.
Yeah,
pounds.
I'd call him 4 3/4 to 5. He's got the length of a 6-pound fish, but
yeah, it's not
he's not in super condition.
No.
He's a buck. He's probably getting towards the latter end of his life cycle, but he can still father many, many more brown trout, so I'm going to release him. I try and keep him in the water as much as possible. Now, I've got him around the tail here. As you can see, I've got my index finger underneath and my thumb on top. It's no good trying to go down over the top like that. They'll slide straight through your hand. But you can put enough pressure on here. I'm not doing any tissue damage or anything. I've just got a nice firm hold. The fish has got his head underwater and he's breathing, and I can hang on to him for a couple of minutes like this. When you keep him in the water, he tends to settle down. He may thrash in a minute, but I've got a pretty good grip on him. I'm just going to get that. He doesn't like me putting my hand in there. I'll just snick that fly out of there. Look at that. tiny little bit of fur and feather, beautifully tied by Ian. And that was just resting on the water, on the surface of the water. It's a bit wet now, so it won't float. And he just came along, and I saw this top jaw lift out of the water, just inhale it, and I had to wait a heartbeat or so just while he turned down, then lifted the rod and set it. And when I'm completely happy that he's swimming upright and got plenty of strength, I'm just going to open my hand, let him swim out. Look at that. Give him a couple of hours and he'll be terrorising the little fish and the insects in this pool again. I'll tell you what, South Island and New Zealand, I think I might pack up and move over here. Trout fishing just doesn't get any better than this. Well, there's some great boats out of this port, and I've got you on one of the best of them, mate. This is it here. Isn't it a little beauty?
You're kidding.
It's only small, but it's very seaworthy.
Oh, well. Tim?
No, I'm only kidding you, mate. This one over here, Calypso, it's a 40-foot black watch. G'day, Tim. How you going, mate?
Good, Steve. How are you?
Good. This is Bushy.
Hey, Tim.
G'day, Bushy.
What have you done to the weather? We better get going before those heavens open up, I think.
Sounds like a good idea.
Fire her up.
Yeehaw! Get 'em.
Bushy and I are on the good ship Calypso with Captain Tim Dean, and we're fishing out of Port Stephens, just north of Newcastle on the New South Wales north coast. You know, this area has emerged as probably one of the best bill fishing ports on the east coast of Australia. There are black, blue and striped marlin here in great numbers right through summer and autumn, and that's what Bushy and I are going to chase today.
Yeah, I would have thought the reels would be a little bit bigger though, Steve, to get these marlin.
Ah, Bushy, you're in one of those moods today, aren't you? As with most forms of fishing, we have to catch the bait first, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to catch some live baits, and we're going to show you some interesting techniques for fishing them. Tell you what, it'd blow a dog off a chain at the moment, but we're still going to catch the bait in the hope that the weather might come good, and when it does, we'll be straight out there. Come on, Bushy, let's get in there and catch some bait.
Match is fast and furious. We haven't even gone fishing yet. Yes.
Yeah.
Only a tiddler. Anyway.
That's what we're after. Slimy mackerel, one of the best live baits in the business.
Oh, whoa, look out, Steve, it's a big one.
Me too. Double hook up.
Mine's bigger.
Oh, dropped mine.
Good. Mine was bigger anyway.
Well, Bushy, I reckon we got more than enough bait. If we can't catch a marlin on that lot, we're doing something wrong. We've got the bait. Conditions are getting better. We're going to head out there right now and see if we can't find a marlin. Well, we're doing something a little bit different today. Traditionally, if you're after marlin, you put lures or baits out the back with hooks in them. But we're actually going to put baits in the water that don't have any hooks in them. They're called teasers. And the technique that we're going to use is called switch and bait. We're going to get the fish up to chew on these teasers, pull them away from them, and then throw a bait in that has got a hook in it. Sounds a bit backwards, Bushy, but why do we do it that way?
Well, the theory behind that is that when this bait's flipping along the top and the marlin comes up and grabs it, he gets a taste of some real meat, and he gets really cranky when Steve pulls this bait away, so he's really mean when he sees a proper bait. If you've just got the normal bait in the water, the marlin's not quite as fired up when he eats it. going to do here is just change our bait, because the first skipping mullet's a little bit drained out. He's had a bit of a flogging out there, up and down on the water. And in front of our skipping mullet, we've got a few of these squids, and that means there's just a little bit more commotion on the top of the water. So as they go along, they'll just be a bit more lively and perhaps interest the marlin, bring them up from a little bit deeper. So we've got a new mullet on. Let's give this a whirl. Haven't felt him get it, but give it a go.
He's got it.
I think he's got it.
He's got it.
He's on.
He's on. Yep.
Someone grab that gimbal for me from inside. We're running, Lenny.
Yeah, he's a little fish.
Good.
Little black by the looks of it. There he goes. Yeah, he's all right. Woo!
We're running, Lenny.
Well, that's how it's supposed to work. Fish came up, nailed the teaser bait. I let him chew on it a couple of times, pulled it away from him. Bushy dropped the live bait over the side, and the marlin ate it straight away. It's a black marlin, looks about 50, 60, 70 kilos. We'll have a good look in a minute. It's a nice little fish anyway. This is where the skipper plays such an important part in the capture of these fish. He's driving back, driving forward, always keeping a tight line and minimising the time that we spend fighting the fish so that we don't stress it out too much. It's a lovely fish. Yeah, he's coming up, coming up. There he goes. He's oh, lovely fish. Woo!
Edge is still under. To put a little bit more pressure on it, most of these game reels have got a 2-speed capacity. It's a little knob on the side of the reel. I've just pushed it. That means I've got a lower gear, so I can pull that fish in without having to work too hard. The modern gear these days makes life a lot easier for us marlin fishing.
I've got the tag pole here. It's got the fisheries tag in the end of it. It's a dart style metal-headed tag. It's on this applicator pole. When we get the fish close enough, I'm going to try and put this tie in its shoulder. And if it's recaptured in a couple of years' time, we'll be able to tell where it was first tagged, where it's been. It's a great program. Lovely, healthy fish. He's swimming upright. He hasn't rolled over at all. Oh, and there he goes. Look at him go. Woo. Look out, Bushy. He's gone.
Well, that's not quite the result we wanted, but I guess it amounts to the same thing. We're just going to put a tag in and let him go. The hook's pulled from the fish. He's completely healthy. We've had a ball, and I can go and have a rest. That's a lot of fun. Woo.
Well, the sun's rapidly sinking towards the horizon, and if the fat lady's not singing, she's certainly well into her voice exercises by now. Bushy, I think we've had our chances, haven't we?
Well, we've had one bouncing around for you to give you a look at what marlin fishing is about, but we haven't really done the job, have we, Steve?
And that's what marlin fishing's like. You could come out here tomorrow, you could have 3 or 4 hookups and tag them all and be successful. We've had boats hooked up around us constantly today. We only had the one good shot ourselves. Bushy had that fish on, and through no fault of his own, the hook pulled out. That's what it's all about. We were going to let the fish go anyway. But it's the promise of tomorrow and those fish that'll bring you back again and again. We'll be back.
G'day folks, thanks a lot for joining us today. Sit back and relax. This is Rex Hunt Fishing Adventures. just what we're all about. I tell you what, this is just fantastic. Wagons, ho! Oh, thank your mother for the rabbits. Just when they think it's safe to come out, another animal! Bang! I guess in the end, that's probably why we all go fishing.
Oh, we do like to be beside the seaside. G'day, Harry.
Good morning, Rex.
Good to see you, mate.
Same to you, mate.
Great to be on the water with you.
Thank you.
G'day, folks. Here we are at Lake Tinaroo. Now, it's a serious impoundment that holds some fantastic Australian bass. And talking about bass, I rang Steve Morgan in Queensland and I said, I want your Mr. Bass. And Harry Watson apparently is it. And what do you got in store for us today, Harry?
Well, I hope we get a couple of trophy-sized bass, Rex. Shouldn't be too hard.
Well, how can you sort of say no to an offer like that? It's wagons ho. We're looking forward to having a great day's fishing. What a start! 6 o'clock in the morning. Everything's looking okay. Let's go fishing, folks.
And 3.
Beautifully done. What a beautiful day.
Righto, Rex, let's get them.
Thank you.
So here, what we've got here, Rex, is a bit of scatter on the bottom, which is that weed sort of stuff. They're just sitting above the weed, so if you can keep your spinnerbait just above them, just above the weed, kick it out of the weed, then bring it back, slow roll it like we have been, we'll pick up a few of those fish just along here.
Oh, he might have taken me on that. No, he's come off there. Yeah, he has.
Okay.
You got to really give it to him, don't you?
Yeah, but you got to keep him out of that rubbish,
Oh,
Rex.
what a nice looking fish, by jingo, and didn't he?
Colour.
He really snaffled that.
It's not bad.
Oh, he's beautiful looking fish, by jingo.
Pick him up for you, Rex.
Now that is a serious Australian bass.
There's the food he's
Yeah,
fed,
look
mate.
at that.
Small bony brim that fella's feeding them.
Look at that. Wow.
Tiny little bonies.
Yeah, he's been down there just sort of having a fantastic breakfast. Now that is a serious bass. So how old would this fish be?
Oh, he'd be about 7-year-old at that 44 centimetres, Rex, I think.
Yeah. He's in good condition,
He's in
isn't he?
good condition, plenty of food.
Yeah.
He's actually spat a little bit of food out there, like small fish.
Yeah.
Small bony brim by the looks of it, or small firetail gudgeons. And I think we might liberate him to fight another day, Rex. What do you
That's
reckon?
the way it is, mate.
Okay. Next year he'll be a couple of centimetres bigger. And he's having a bit of a chew on my thumb, so I think he's pretty good. Oh, and there he goes.
Look at that.
And look at the food he spat out.
Yeah. Oh, nice fish. He's got a tag in him.
He's got a tag in him, Rex.
Look at that. A tag fish. Is there a tagging program on these fish?
Yeah, there is, Rex. They tag in a few different impoundments, and this is one of them in southeast Queensland, just for growth rates and just to see how they move around the impoundment. But this guy's obviously, I'd say he's been caught not so long ago. See how the moss has knocked off the tag? So someone's taken that tag number and sent it in. You get a little certificate back and you might win a few lures. It's just an incentive sort of thing.
He's K7904, Rex.
K7904.
Yep.
I tell you what, I've won the meat tray. My lucky day. Oh, he grabbed that, Harry, like there was no tomorrow. These are beautiful, beautiful fish. These really are. One thing I meant to mention to you folks, that a lot of people, you know, think bass fishing, they see people...
I'm on too, Rex.
You on as well, are you? Well done.
Double.
Well, we've got a double. We better go down here and check up with our host, because he tell you what, he has really produced the goods.
I think this one's a bit bigger than yours, Rex. Then again, I could be biased. Oh, mate.
A bit bigger. Oh, well done.
Nah, I think you got me again, mate.
You reckon?
I think so. I think you got me.
Look at that dueling bass. Oh, look, we'll just say it's a dead heat.
Call it a draw.
While Harry's sort of grabbing these fish and releasing them, one thing that I did want to mention to you is that we read magazines and see a few sort of television segments on bass fishing, particularly from the States, and a lot of people think it's a light line fishery, you know, 2 and 3 kilo and that sort of thing. A 2 and 3 kilo line here, you end up with nothing, because as Harry, our guide here today, has just shown us, if you don't get your lure down amongst that vegetation, you don't end up with magnificent fish like this. So you need probably minimum of 6 kilo, even up to 8 or 10, and pretty heavy trace, you know, up to 20-pound trace in the old scale. But aren't they magnificent fish? Tell you what, whatever they're...
that.
Yeah. So there you are. We've had a fantastic morning, and these beautiful fish. It's a real pleasure to come up here and see them. Off you go, mate. He's biting on me, and away he goes.
And I'll send his mate with him, I think,
Yeah,
Rex.
good on you. So that's the way to do it. Well, I tell you what, Harry, it's been an absolute pleasure to fish with you. And Harry is our man representing this country in an American bass fishing competition. And I reckon it's pretty serious stuff over there, Harry.
It is serious, I think, Rex, and I'll be happy to do well.
It's all right. Well, you've done well here today. If you fish like this, you're going to be right up there with the very, very best. Harry and Mundara.
Mugara.
And Mugara. I've been practicing this for so long, folks.
Come on, Bushy. Come on, old son. Oh, wow. Well, I tell you what, that is one of the most unique forms of transport, Bushy, that we've ever used.
That is awful.
But the serious part is that this is the Rex Hunt Fishing Adventure Show, and you've organised this trip to Tumby Bay. What have we got in store for us today?
Well, we've got Jeff Wolford to take us out on the Investigator, and he's said, I'm going to catch the biggest snapper I've ever seen, and I hope he's right.
So do I. We're going fishing, folks. Wagons ho. Come on, boys, let's go. There's the boat over there.
Snapper on.
Bit of a touch there, Bushy.
Yes, Rexy.
Got a snapper on, have you, mate?
A little one.
Got a bit of a touch there myself.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's a better one.
That's a nice snapper, yours, Bushy.
That's a snapper. I don't think this is a snapper.
Oh, well, me. It's great to be back in South Australia. I tell you what, there's some serious fish over these southern waters, Bushy.
Yeah, it looks great here. I've only had one drop and bang, straight away.
Straight away, was it?
Yep.
Yeah, well, I've got a 20-pound line on here in the old scale, so, you know, it's near enough to 10 kilos. So this fish, he's nothing to write home about by the standards that these people out of Tumby Bay sort of talk about, but I reckon in Victoria you'd be sort of thinking, gee whiz, I've got a decent sort of a snapper on here in Port Phillip Bay.
Well, the boys are a bit doubtful about your gear, Rexy.
Well,
Cast a couple of aspersions, did they?
no, they didn't. They cast about 24 aspersions on my gear. They said, what are you fishing for, Rexy? Garfish. So I just thought, well, we'll just see whether these fantastic South Australian snapper can give the old Big V a bit of a run for their money. We're in about 25 metres of water, so it's about 80 feet in the old scale. I've got a nice bit of colour here. Wow, look at that, Bushy. Is that all right or what?
That is a good start.
It's a good start for a snap, do you think? Wow. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful looking snapper? Well, a beautiful start to our sortie out here in the middle of Spencer Gulf. What a beautiful South Australian snapper. Can you give us that knife there, Bushy?
There you go, Rexy.
Very much. We won't be able to dive in there and get that particular hook. But that one there, I'm told, is a beautiful eating size. Beautiful eating size. We nearly lost the sunglasses over the size, so he can go into the bin. But what a start to our sortie a la snapper in South Australia. Fasten your seatbelts, folks. It's going to be a rough trip. A fish, that is.
This one feels a bit better, Rexy.
Good man.
Maybe he's a bit better than my starting baby one. Come on. This is not a bad fish at all. Oh, come on. Hey. This is much better fish, Rexy. Oh, big ploddy snapper. He's going nod, nod, nod. It's a good sign. And I actually want this fish really badly because I haven't caught any big snapper. But I've just got to take my time, let the drag work. Hope he doesn't fall off. Or a white pointer eats him.
There you go. Oh, Bushy, look at the size of yours.
Look at that. That's not a bad ready. Oh, I don't know whether I can lift that. I got him. Okay, here it comes. Yes. Whoa. Holy dog. Oh, have a look at that.
Now, Bushy,
That's not a bad start, Rexy.
is that the biggest snapper you've ever caught in your life?
14 pounds, the biggest one, and I reckon that'd have to be close. Might be bigger.
Well, I reckon give it 7 kilo so people just get an idea that it's 14 or 15 pound, mate. And look at the head that you caught it on.
Yeah, that was a Tommy
We're
rough
sort of
head.
not going to muck around with fillets or pilchards. We're going to give them something substantial to eat. And they are the garbage incinerator of the sea, aren't they?
Yeah, he's just been down there mopping up everything, and oh, gee, that fought well too, Rex.
It certainly
You
did.
still got one on there?
Yeah, I've got one on.
We better have a look at Rexy's.
Oh, my goodness gracious me. Take me back to Port Phillip. Take me back to Port Phillip Flathead. Oh. Now, I think it's like shooting rats with a 12-gauge shotgun here. It's a little bit of an underkill. And, but still, Jeff, our skipper today, said, well, you're going whiting fishing, are you, Rexy? And now I see what he means. I thought, oh, a few nice little skill snapper, 4 or 5 pound in the old scale. Use 4 or 5 pound whiting heads for bait over here, folks. Certainly giving us a little bit of a workout on this snapper rod.
What do you reckon? We'll get in trouble. Skipper will yell at us, but it's too nice a fish.
Okay, mate.
Okay, there you go,
Off
mate.
you go.
Consider yourself very lucky.
And away he goes. There's that many of them here, folks. It doesn't matter. If you want one to eat, 6 or 7 pound is beautiful. The size limit over here, by the way, is 38 centimetres, and that's why they've got such a great fishery. In Victoria, it's 27 centimetres. They're only tiddlers here. Got to throw them back. Oh, gee whiz. Putting some pressure on this fish, but he's taken plenty of line. Wow. Oh, look at this fish here.
Mate.
My goodness gracious me, Bushy.
How are we going to get him though? Well, we're going to eat that one. We could gaff him if we're going to eat him. Here he comes.
Oh, nice fish.
Righto, you want to try and net him? Not a
Just
prawn.
hold that, will you, Bushy?
Ah, my big chance.
There's a blue-breasted butterfly. Bushy, come here. Is this the only net you've got on board?
It's the only one I could fit in my pocket.
Tell you what, all right then.
He'll fit.
Will he?
Oh, yeah. Oh-wee.
Wow, have a look at that. Now that is a one heck of a fish. There is no doubt about that. And he's just hooked in the lip. And look at that. Wow, he was never ever going to get off. And I can just take the hook out just like that. Look at that. That's one heck of a South Australian snapper. And I tell you what, the big breeding snapper must be doing their job. I just think there's so many of these fish down here, folks, that we can afford to put a few of these back. Our skipper aboard investigator Jeff Wolford has certainly come good with the goods this afternoon. The change of tide in one of the deepest parts of this magnificent gulf. And how about that, folks? If that doesn't warm your blood, nothing will. Magnificent snapper. The fish of a lifetime. See you later, mate. And away he goes. Well, folks, it's the bearded burbler with a new fire break and the human moustache on location, no relation, in Spencer Gulf in South Australia, Bushy, and we've heard a lot from the locals about these local snapper.
Well, we're on the Good Ship Investigator with Jeff Wolford, and he tells me there's some big uns in here.
Talking about big uns, folks, 24 kilometres that way is Tumby Bay, and 24 metres that way is a sunken prawn trawler that acts as an artificial reef. We've got some serious baits which we'll show you in a minute, but we've also got some inquiries at the back. South Australian snapper fishing, let's do it, folks. Hope you enjoyed the ride.
What I've got here, Rexy, this is a funny fight.
What are you... You are joking.
No, I'm not joking.
What are you using, 2 hooks?
Well, just a 2-hook rig so that I can put a fillet or a head on with twice as much chance of hooking a fish. It's not meant to catch 2, but down here the kindergarten's got in the act. Look at that. There you go, 2 at once. It's unreal, this place.
Oh, a bit of weight there, Bushy.
That's a bit of a... Is that already?
Well, I think it is. Just because they sort of just rattle doesn't mean, gee, it's going to be a little pinky. What we've done here is we're using these particular King George whiting heads and pieces of octopus. Now, if you went to Louis down in Ackland Street of St Kilda, mate, I tell you what, I could eat 20 of these on a Saturday night at the old Greek restaurant. What we've got to do is we've got to give them something to eat. They're very, very big fish. But if you put a small bait on, the little blokes get at it. If you put a big bait on, you see the same thing in an aquarium. You put a big piece of food down in an aquarium, and all the little fish around will go bang, 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 and the big fish will come in and go, hey, bang, that's mine.
Now, we've been given the good oil that these bigger snapper over here like the heads. The small ones attack the rest of the fish, but the heads seem to get down through the little fellas, and the big ones have a go. So we just cut our Tommy rough across the head and put the hook just through his mouth like that while it's closed. Just get that through there, and that holds him on quite securely, and they'll smell all that nice blood coming out of there. Hopefully we get a big one.
I realise that you can spend a lot of time on these fish on light gear, and I do. Look, I enjoy the sport of angling. You know, the rod is an extension of your arm. It's an amazing thing. Our skipper Jeff said, are you a cack-hander? Which means in Australian, are you a left-hander? And no, I'm not, I'm a right-hander. The major force of my particular arm is in the right hand. And that's what I'm doing now, and I'm just retrieving line with the left. So I've always tried to preach to the kids starting off in fishing that although it might sort of feel strange, and Grandpa might wind with his left hand, the true right-handed fishing reel is wound with the left hand.
Oh, that's
look
not
at
bad.
that. What a nice fish. Oh, about, say, 6 kilo again. These are serious fish. Gee, that's a nice fish.
That'd have to be our dinner.
You reckon?
Yep.
You reckon that's the one to eat?
I think so.
Wow.
Whoa.
Just watch out for my sunglasses there. Yeah, that's the one we're going to eat, folks. I tell you what other country can you be out here in magnificent weather and catch one of the great true sport fish of the Southern Ocean and go inside, sit down with a nice cool drink and cook up a storm? I tell you what, she's a bit bumpy out here tonight, but that's snapper weather. And Australia's the lucky country. And quite seriously, folks, let's defend it at all times. Keep it the way it is. It's a marvellous place to live. Oh, look at that. Put so much into bait preparation that we just hang the bait on the line like that. Now, you see there that is a long leader. If you cast it out, it will foul up above the swivel and you won't get a fish. So you've got to let it down under pressure. You either open up the bail and feather the line with your thumb just like that, or with these bait runner reels, they're sensational. Clip over the bail and disengage the bait runner, and it just goes down under sort of enough pressure to make sure that the sinker does not go down faster than the leader. And the value of that is when the sinker hits the bottom, the trace is right there with the cocktail of King George whiting head and octopus. It's laying perfectly on the sea floor, and hopefully when the little blokes come along, big papa snapper comes and says, "Hey, out of the way, Junior. I'm going to actually have something to eat." Thank you very much. Bit of a... Yep. Wow, what a session. I tell you what, next time I come over here, I'm going to be a macho man and pump a bit of iron and get a little bit fit, because I tell you what, it's taken a little bit about sort of 40 years off my life, I reckon. Lifting and winding and pumping and grinding, and Bushy's back into kindergarten land.
Well, I can't admit to that, can I?
Oh, listen, you idiot.
You better get a goodie.
Well, we need a goodie. We've got a beautiful box of fish, some to take home. We've got a couple of smaller ones to put on the barbecue as we chug back into Tumby Bay. Oh, look at this.
Oh, I reckon that's another good eater. There is a lot of us.
Beautiful fish. Wow. The old King George whiting head has done it again. And he's gone. And away he goes. Well, isn't that justice? Hey, that's 30-pound line, folks, on a fish of about 15-pound in the old scale. Bushman, it's great to fish with your son, but what a fishery.
What a fishery. Do we have to go home?
Well, I'm afraid we do. But special thanks to our friends here at Tumby Bay. Congratulations on your management of a marvellous whiting and snapper fishery. You're obviously doing something right, and we'll be back. Why don't you give it a go? G'day folks, and thanks very much for joining us on Rex Hunt Fishing Adventures. As usual, there's plenty happening. Sit back and relax and let us entertain you. All the best. Look at that! The old bearded birdler, he's in his element. Threw it into his mouth. Unbelievable, mate. It's just like nature. It's what we're all about. I tell you what, this is just fantastic. Wagons, ho! Oh, thank your mother for the rabbits.
Just when they think it's safe to come out, not an animal!
Bang!
I guess in the end, that's probably why we all go fishing.
years of snapper, and I just hope, mate, that your best years of your life, that you can come back with your grandchildren and catch one of. And a little bit for you, old fella. It's great to see you on board.
Good to be on board, matey, really. It's a long time since we've fished this area, but I'm looking forward to it.
This is Thommo, folks, and those of you who know him will just say, well, of course it's Thommo. Neil Thompson is a legend of Port Phillip Bay. I don't want to embarrass him, although he's not easily embarrassed. But today, we're not doing your favourite fishing snapper. We're going to have a look for some whiting, and you really enjoy the shallow water whiting fishing of the western seaboard of Port Phillip.
Hopefully fast and furious, Rex. I reckon they go like crazy when they're on here.
We have a tide change in 20 minutes. We have launched at Werribee South, and this is a marvellous complex at the mouth of the Werribee River. And it makes a doorway to some of the best fishing in Victoria, not just the bay. Folks, I've been looking forward to this since we fished on, well, Mordialloc Pier together with the garfish.
Mordialloc Pier, yep.
So Hunt and Thompson, mud, flood or blood?
40 years of it.
Let's go, mate. Should be a good day, folks. Stick with us. And I just hope that your grandchildren can catch fish like you and I did, mate.
Well, I can see it happening. I can see the bay coming back. I can see a revival. I can see the snapper coming in. The unfortunate thing, though, Rex, is they're not the size they used to be. I think they've been decimated. But, you know, you've got an untapped resource out there in Bass Strait. And if you can give the fish the conditions that they require to number one, breed, and number two, to find forage and food in the bay, they'll be back. Yeah, they'll be back. And I think the bigger fish will come back as well.
Yeah. A lot of seasoned whiting anglers will recognise that I'm picking up shore marks. By taking shore marks, you make sure you get back on the same spot every time. But because it's a new season, the weed can die off, new weed can grow, sand patches form. So on a northerly like it is today here in Melbourne, you can see the patches of dark and light. The dark is the weed and the light is the sand where the fish feed on polychaete worms. And the best thing is don't disturb the fish. Lay the anchor, do not throw it. Lay the anchor over the side and let out plenty of rope. Let it out nice and easy, and when you reckon you've got enough out, you take the boat out of gear, switch the motor off, and you drift into your spot, anchoring on the dark and fishing into the light. This is called a bridle. That's an extra rope that will keep us in good stead when the northerly gets up to 15 to 20 knots. Because as the boat starts to yaw from port to starboard, this particular line down on the bottom of the starboard side bollard will go bang, and that will stop you moving around. And naturally enough, you can't have an anchor out the back because you're only fishing in 6 or 7 foot of water. It spooks the fish. I reckon we're going to have a good day with one of the special people in my life. Thought I just had a little bit of a touch on that line there, folks. Thommo and I at the minute are just a little bit quiet, but we're searching. And by that I mean, in our whiting parlance, that one area becomes many areas. We cast across there, we cast down the back, down the front. We have a look where the burley's going. We have a look at any signs that might say that the fish have moved in. And Thommo, at the moment, we're a little bit slow, but a couple of small touches just signify that something might happen, but it doesn't happen. It's like my hair overnight, does it?
It doesn't happen overnight, but once you get that little bit of movement, the water's starting to look better now too. There's a bit more clarity in it.
As it runs off?
Yep, tide.
What was that then?
On your left-hand rod there is a touch.
Left-hand rod. And there he is again, yes. So, haha, the first sign that, oh, what a good-looking fish. And he was right over the back on that sleeper there, Thommo. Welcome aboard, Mr. Chinese Fish, the old whiting, King George whiting. Now, I tell you what, a couple of my friends reckon these are world class in the eating steaks. But as far as I'm concerned, folks, my trademark is I kiss them, and then put them in our little bin. Because one thing, Thommo, that you and I do enjoy with our folk at home is one of the best eating fish in the sea, and it's right on our doorstep.
So I think it's the best eating fish.
Yeah.
Next to flathead. I love flathead fillets too, but whiting, the top stuff.
After Christmas, the flathead will move in. The long-nosed or blue-spotted flathead will come in here to spawn, and we'll get some big ones. Today, we might miss out. But the thing about it is, today, we've opened our account with King George whiting, and that's what we've come for. And the serious thing for you anglers out there watching is that you always go targeting a specific fish. If you just go to catch anything that swims out there, you have a look at the encyclopedia of fishing. There's no such fish.
There's a touch there, Rex. Yep. He's on. Another whiting too, King George. Ah. There you go. There's a million fish in the bay, and I'm the bloke that's got to hook one and drop him off. I think it's the crook hooks you gave me. That's what it is.
Those people that have been with me so many years on this program will know that I always take the old glasses off and eyeball you straight down the barrel. But excuse me today, folks, because what I've got to do is pick out the dark and light patches. The light patches out the back are sand, so we're going to raise a little bit of interest with our super burley with a little concoction of an addition of tuna oil. Now the tuna oil attracts things like garfish and toadies and tommy ruffs and little salmon. And it's not so much to attract the whiting, which I don't believe actually eat the super burley in great sort of quantities, but it's to attract the other species that create the interest. I had another bite there, so what I might do is just see if we can catch you another one, and like that, and that's the way to catch whiting. Excuse me, I'll take my glasses off this time, folks. Like a one-arm paper hanger here with hides. Another King George whiting, it is not, and what we have is a very, very good example of the burley starting to work. This is a Port Phillip Bay flathead. I'll just put that down there. And that's a very, very good sign that our burley's starting to work. This is a sand flathead as against a blue spotted flathead. And he's come up and he's seen the pippy with a little bit of an attraction from the red bead, and he said, "Thank you, mother, for the rabbits." Well, I can tell you now, folks, Thommo is absolutely inspired by the best eating fish in the land, King George whiting, which we've got. And I tell you what, if I actually kiss this one and put it back into the bay, Thommo won't ever speak to me ever again. So we might actually catch that, keep that one as well. There you go. Keep on opening bait, folks, all of the time, because you never ever know in fishing when you might need it. And particularly whiting fishing, when you get a lot of species or you get a lot of bites and you miss them, you don't want to be sort of fumbling around opening up bait. Bit of a touch on that one. Wet, yeah, because the shells become burly, little bits of bait go in, and that was a bit of a touch. I don't know whether that might have been a whiting that came down there. Gee, they're starting to get a little bit of a go here. And isn't that a magnificent King George whiting? That is a very good example of what this fishery is all about. Nice big fish. And this is what I'm on about. I had a sleeper down there. I've got a rod out further. It's called the trotting rig in my parlance. One out and one back. You never know when you're going to get the fish. The burley's gone out there. There's a bit of activity. You put a sleeper in and away she goes. We're getting my old friend, I mean old in years that I've known him, a nice feed up, young man, and I hope you're enjoying being on my show.
I'm enjoying it, but keep it up. You brought me out here to catch the fish and you're doing it all.
All right then, folks. Well, what we better do, Bob, you better press that button. We're going to take a break. I'm going to have a bit of a pep talk to my grand old master, Neil Thompson. And out of the break, hopefully, Australia and the world will see him catch a fish. Or else. Are you right, are you? Would you like me to leave?
No, you're right.
Just come in there.
Yeah, look, you've been poaching my spot all day.
And you lost him again!
Oh, you're joking.
He lost him again! I tell you what, folks, Thommo's having an ordinary day. Look at him. He's like a triangle.
Look at this. Look at this. That's why. Look at what you've
Would
done.
you like me to actually leave the boat? But, folks, let me tell you that... Just add another nibble. Rexy boy,
Yeah,
Rexy boy, he's
you've
done it again. Rexy boy. Thommo, that's what it's called.
Is that what it's called,
This is Rex Hunt Fishing Adventures, not Neil Thompson's non-fishing adventures.
Bit of a touch there, mate. I think we're pretty sure it's a whiting. Yep.
Well done. Well done. I tell you what, they're not actually jumping in the boat. You really got to catch them, don't you?
Got to angle for these, I tell you.
Yeah, you do. Oh, nice fish, I
There
tell
we
you.
go. Yeah, nice little
That is a
schoolie,
nice
isn't he,
fish,
eh?
isn't it? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Well done. Don't all clap
done,
at once.
Thommo. Just well done. He can fish, folks. How'd you go, Thommo?
Yeah, got something on here now. Doesn't feel like a whiting though, Rex.
Doesn't it?
No.
He's making a good fish of it though, Thommo. What do you think,
Going
mate?
well. It's a leather jacket, I
Is it
think.
really?
Yeah, either that or a flathead.
Oh,
No,
beautiful
it's a
big
nice,
frog.
It's a nice flathead.
Yeah, beautiful big frog.
Another sand flathead
A
again.
sand flathead, but no no appearance yet from the big long noses because they don't come in
A bit
until,
early yet.
Yeah, that's a beautiful.
No, he's a sand
That
flathead.
is a sand flathead.
Yeah, this designates a sand flathead by your two little patches down here towards the tail. But one thing I've got to stress is the handling of these things. You know, don't let kids pick them up, whatever you do. You have a look at those spines there. Inflict a nasty wound. Those particular ones have got an anticoagulant poison, which will make you bleed and bleed and bleed. The dorsal spines is where the sting is. These fellas are on the top here. So if you're handling these things, the best way to handle them is to flick them over on their back. Come on, over you go. And get your fingers in the gills.
Just like that.
Just like that.
And he's going on your
There
plate
he
tonight.
goes.
with
He's
some chips
going
and
on
salad.
my plate. No worries about that.
And these spikes actually can cause you to bleed a lot?
Oh, those fellas there are dynamite, Rex.
Are they really?
Just look at the shape on those.
Shall I tell the viewers or will you? Hey? I think actually I have a little bit of a, well, something to tell the folks. Thommo said that the spikes actually make you bleed a bit. Have a look at that. Granny, our sandman, has got a Casper the Ghost Band-Aid, and I'm glad he did because I actually, Yibbida Yibbida, folks, I did what Thommo said not to, and I was leaking here like the old Glen Maggie Reservoir in the late 30s. How about that, mate?
Dinner.
Just absolutely beautiful to watch. And quite serious, I'm absolutely honoured to have Thommo on board today because he really played a big part in the direction I went in life. First of all, it was Alec Rowe on the end of the Mentone and Morty Alec Piers. Then Jeff Fink down around here at Werribee with Ted Oliver. Absolutely terrific people. And then Thommo came along in 1968 and taught me what great snapper fishing could be in Port Phillip Bay. But today, we've enjoyed a sortie on the King George whiting. And I'm glad that tonight, at Thommo's place of abode, he dines on the best eating fish, in our opinion, in the sea. It's good fun fishing. It's even better when a dear friend comes along.